Hi, I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you for joining us on our One Team Visi Wednesday night call featuring Alan Ogden. My name is Penny Morin. I'm an Arctic Emerald here at Visi. I live in Stony Plain, Alberta, and I've been with the company since their launch in 2012. Tonight's topic is Glutathione, Saving Our Children. I was introduced to Alan almost 2 years ago when he joined Visi, and shortly thereafter met him in person when he was invited to speak at a presentation I was conducting in Edmonton. Alan is a registered retired pharmacist. He has a diploma in geriatric pharmacy. He's a formulator, natural health specialist. He's trained in nutrition and energy medicine. He's a soon-to-be author, and he sits on the Visi Scientific Advisory Board. For several years, Alan suffered his own health issues, and when modern medicine wasn't working for him, he turned to natural medicine where he found relief and healing for his condition. I appreciate his dedication to natural health and his tireless commitment to the health and well-being of everyone he meets. Alan is an engaging speaker who has spoken to thousands of people with humor and knowledge on how to take control of their health through food, exercise, and supplementation. I'm honored to call him a friend, mentored, and valued member of this team. Recently, Alan was influential in bringing our newly released Vara product to the marketplace. Vara is a therapeutic dose of certia glutathione. There's been such a buzz along with this amazing success stories since its release that we've decided to put a weekly call together so you can benefit from the vast knowledge Alan brings to the table regarding the benefits of certia glutathione. Alan, are you there?
Well, hi, and hello to everyone. Wow, there's just so many dings as people got on this call. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you, Penny, and you can hear me well?
I can.
Good. Well, first of all, I want to say to all the moms, grandmoms, grandparents, or moms-to-be, everybody that's on this call, no matter where you are at right now, or no matter where the child that you're thinking about is at right now, young or adult, or what condition that person has, I just want you to know that there's hope. And really that's essentially what I want everyone on this call to leave with tonight is that there's hope, that things can change, no matter what the situation, the condition, that things can change for them. And so to really get people up to speed or to bring them to why I'm doing this call, I have to take you back in my life, back to a number of years ago and to a mental hospital. And I know that there's that sounds kind of funny, but way back many, many years ago, we were actually doing research with vitamin D. And we were actually looking, researchers were looking for, could vitamin B, mega doses of vitamin B, could mega doses of vitamin B actually help with some of the conditions that people experience that are in mental health? So depression, ADHD, dementias, all sorts of things. And while we were doing this particular research, one of the neurologists that I was working with, he just happened to mention, and just sort of, I don't know, seemed to come out of his mouth at one time. He said, folic acid is very important in the third trimester of a pregnancy because that's when the neurology of the baby is being formed. And I had never heard that before. I'd never heard anything about B vitamins. I'd never heard anything about their effect on the brain. I'd never heard anything about that before. So I actually got into a conversation with him about it, and then I went back to, I was working with a doctor at the time, and I was doing a pediatric practice. I actually had a pediatric and a geriatric practice. I know those sound kind of funny, but actually most of the medicines are taken by people either over the age of 55 or under the age of 5. And so, you have those two ends of the spectrum to deal with. And I was really focusing at the time, on children because where I lived, in the little town of Pinoque, Alberta, where I lived, actually that area had the highest rate of infantile asthma in North America. So it was so high that they actually conducted a full-blown inquiring clinical trial into what might be the reasons for that happening. So very interested in children, and I was working with one particular doctor, and I was doing all the MAT patients. We were designing their nutritional supplementation. So I went back to him, and we actually sat down. We designed out this plan of nutrition for moms, and it involved increasing levels of folic acid during the pregnancy and some other vitamins and nutrients and amino acids and things. And what we were looking for was, is there some way that we can actually influence what's going on with the child? And, today America's children, they're in crisis. 1 in 88 kids can have autism. So autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, OCD, stress disorders, they just go on. And so what is going on? And so, back then we didn't know anything about glutathione. We were just really interested in having healthy babies. And I wish somehow I could show you pictures of the last 2 babies that I had influence on, which just wasn't very long ago. And both those moms followed this program that we had, and now includes, helping their glutathione levels. But these babies are just so amazing. Their eyes are clear, and their features are outlined. And what we didn't know, what we were not aware of at the time, the doctor that I was working with, we did this for 4 years. And during that 4 years, we did not have one child that was born that had autism, ADHD. We were having these children that were they were so healthy, and they were ready for life. And you could just see them. They were. It's just amazing to see these babies that were being born at the time. And so very, very encouraging, and just really wonderful. And there's nothing like having a little baby that is just healthy and ready for life. And so we didn't know anything, but since that time, what we've discovered is, how does a fetus develop? How do we develop? How do we stay together? How does the cells of our body know that's enough to make a kidney, that's enough to make our lungs, that's enough to make our liver? And since that time, what we've discovered is that there's a mechanism in the body, and that's probably the most highly scientific thing I'm going to say tonight, but there's a mechanism in the body called quorum signaling. Sometimes it's called quantum signaling, but it's quorum signaling. And what that is the cells, and we all know what a quorum is. A quorum is enough of something to, we usually relate it to a meeting. So a quorum is enough people to have a meeting, a required number of people. Well, in our body, as these cells begin to grow and divide and so on, they communicate with each other. Now, they communicate individually. So your kidney cells actually have a communication mechanism that's unique to those cells, but they also communicate with the rest of the cells in your body. And they have this communication mechanism called quorum signaling. So it actually tells the body, or the kidney cells make the body aware there's enough here to do this function. And so what we were doing, we were providing nutrition that allowed for these cells to reach this quorum. They were reaching this place where they could send out a signal that they were ready for life. They were ready to grow. And we had no knowledge of glutathione. We didn't know any really very much about all the science behind this that's come out in the last 20 years or so. But since that time, then we discovered glutathione. And what glutathione does is glutathione actually if you can think of it maybe a fishnet stocking. Everybody can kind of picture a fishnet stocking. And if you have a hole or if you have a run in your fishnet stocking, well, there's no way that we know of to replace that. And what glutathione does in our body is actually forms this network throughout our body, and it's in every cell of our body, and it's on every cell of our body. So it's forming this network, and if we interrupt that pattern, so if we have low glutathione, if we have a tear in this network, what happens is glutathione is responsible for the methylation of protein. And when you methylate protein, it knows to reproduce itself. It knows to remake itself. And if you don't have that methylation process, well, then the cell doesn't know that it's time to replicate. It's time to grow. And so when we give glutathione to people, and this is what I'm so excited about, is glutathione actually acts like, or it makes the network think that hole is diminished or doesn't even exist. And so where you didn't have communication before, now you can have communication. That's why we see such amazing results with glutathione and in different areas of the body and all of that kind of stuff, because we now know that it's throughout the body, and every cell has glutathione. You can't have life without glutathione, and it's an integral part. We don't really understand all of this yet. This is just really new research, but all this signaling mechanism is all made up of proteins, peptides, and amino acids. And so if they can't replicate, if they can't make the proper receptor sites, if they can't make the proper signaling mechanisms, well, then things go awry. And when we look at people that have particular diseases, childhood diseases, I mean, we can probably trace that right back to, we know that when a mom is pregnant, that the baby gets the best of everything. So, mom can get gestational diabetes because everything is going to the baby. And all of those things, if we can fix those holes, if you will, and glutathione is one of the really necessary components in making those patches. And the really cool thing about glutathione is that you can give it later on in life. So even if you've had, a hole in the fishnet stocking for some period of time, when you start to take glutathione, when you start to ingest glutathione, it will actually start to act in that same manner. And so we get these things, these cells, they all start to communicate again. So, right from when we have, I like to go right back to moms. If they're thinking about having a child, they've had children already, great. But if they're thinking about having another child, that's a really great time to make sure that you're optimizing your immune system, that you're taking this glutathione. And also with the Vara product, we've included B vitamins, we've included vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium. Selenium, very important to the brain. Folate, we've got that in Vara as well. And so it's a great preparatory product for people who are thinking about having a child. And for those who have children, it's great for your children. I talk about Monday morning moms sometimes. That's when you get up Monday morning, you've got so many things to do, and you've got to get to work, and you've got to get the kids to school, and you've got all these things to do, and one of the kids is sick, and just can't go to school, and your whole day changes because of that. And, we have a couple of grandkids, and, that's one of the things that I like to do with my grandkids is make sure that they have optimal levels of glutathione. As pharmacists, we used to joke about this. When the kids go to school, it only takes about 2 to 3 weeks for the germ factory to kick in. And, kids go to school, they start to pass things around, and it's just a matter of what the first outbreak is going to be. It's not a matter of, is there going to be something come home from school? And we kind of all know that. It's just a matter of when is that going to happen? Well, if your kids have adequate levels of glutathione, you don't have to worry about that. They can go to school, and they can be exposed to a lot of these things that other children it'll take them out of school for a week or 10 days or whatever. And, in my own particular case, since I've actually started and understand about glutathione, I literally haven't had a cold since 2009 when I first understood how to actually help my glutathione level. And if I do feel cold coming on, it might last 3, 4, 5 hours or something like that. I might feel a little bit down, but I literally have not had a cold. I don't have a flu. I don't get the flu shot. I don't even think about it. Don't even worry about it. And, one of the challenges that parents face in America these days is, should our kids get vaccinated? Big controversy about vaccination, and does that have any influence on the child's behavior later on in life and so on? Well, the fact is, if your child has adequate and amazing amounts of glutathione, your body will have the ability to handle these vaccinations and whatever's going along with them. And your body's exposed to lots of things anyway. So, for little kids under 5, a half a package of Vara a day. Kids over 5, kids especially when they're going to school, a package of Vara a day. It's great for them. And one of the reasons I wanted it a mixable powder. There's a lot of people have asked, why isn't it a capsule? Well, we wanted it for kids and for old folks. And sometimes they struggle with capsules, but we wanted it so you could mix it. You could put it into something. Kids don't like vitamins, and traditionally vitamins don't taste that good anyway. You got to make them into gummies, or you got to make them into some, artificially sweetened or highly sweetened thing to cover up the mask the taste of vitamins or minerals. Well, with Vara, we have these vitamins and minerals, and you can mix that. You can actually make a little popsicle out of it, little ice cubes. You can freeze it. You can mix it into food that they already are eating, as long as it's not real hot food, because that just actually doesn't damage the glutathione, but it actually damages all the supporting, the vitamin E, the vitamin C, the B vitamins. They're very heat labile. They're very heat sensitive. So, but you can mix it in stuff. Like I just had my Vara. I have Vara a couple, 3 times a day, and when I do, I mix it in. Sometimes I'll mix it in yogurt, or I'll mix it in almond milk. And if you mix it in almond milk, there's no grittiness. It mixes really well, but we did that intentionally. We wanted a product that kids could take, and that parents could feel comfortable giving their kids. So, and then for older folks, here's some really, really fabulous news about glutathione. And I get asked this question lots, so I'm going to answer it. Glutathione has no known drug interactions. So, somebody that's on a lot of medications, they're for whatever, can you give them glutathione? The answer is yes. Yes, you can give them Vara. They can take Vara. They can take it safely. It's not going to interrupt blood thinners. It's not going to interrupt any of their medication. So, for the grandmas out there that are thinking about that, and for the people that are caring for other people, you can safely take this product, and we made it mixable for those reasons. The other thing we found about glutathione is that glutathione, the cetria, and cetria means set tree, the tri, set tria, set a set of 3 amino acids. So there's 3 amino acids that actually make up glutathione. That's where the name comes from, cetria or cetria, however you want to pronounce it, cetria. It's 3 amino acids, so it's glycine, it's cysteine, and glutamine. So those 3 amino acids, through a complicated chemical process, come together to make glutathione in your body. And the reason we don't get glutathione, even though we consume proteins with all those amino acids, the reason we don't get glutathione from our food is the fact that there's no real mechanism in our body to absorb the amino acid cysteine. It's very complicated to absorb amino acid, and there's high competition in our intestinal tract for glutathione, for cysteine as well. So we just don't get it from our food. So we wanted to make a product that was safe for little kids. We wanted to make something that they could take, and mixable form was what we did. So now what we have is this great product that allows for, if you think about that little one that's growing internally, and the mom's giving everything to it. The mom is well prepared. The glutathione levels are high. You're going to have lots of glutathione in your colostrum, in your breast milk when you start to feed that child, and you're doing the best. Now, I'm not, I can't make promises that something's not going to happen with your child. And back when I was doing this with this doctor, and the 4 years we did that, we were very aware of the fact that there was still something that could happen to the child that we had no control over. And then, so we're not saying that. But what I'm saying to you is that all of our science, all of our research points to the fact that glutathione is so important. It's so integral to this signaling mechanism, this foreign signaling mechanism. It's so important to the methylation of protein. It's so important to just the basics of life that it's a safeguard. It's you're doing your best. If something still turns up, you can take comfort in knowing that you've done your best. You've given yourself the best opportunity. You've given a child the best opportunity. And that's really all we hope for as parents, as grandparents. When we know a little one's on the way, we all, I don't know, you probably heard it too, but we all say, keep our fingers crossed. It's got 5 fingers, 5 toes, 2 ears, and a nose, and that's a little poem. But we want the best. So this is actually what we're doing with this Vara. We're giving that basic best nutrition to everybody, and it's safe for everybody, no matter what age. And to me, we have fantastic products in Visi. Vara is the product that everyone should take. If people could only take one supplement, I get asked this question a lot. If people could only take one supplement, if my kids were only to take one supplement, what should it be? It should be Vara. It should be glutathione. Glutathione, it's the master antioxidant, the master of detoxification. It's the master of inflammation. It controls these other processes in your body. So it can take the vitamin D, it can take the vitamin C, it can take the vitamin E. It can prolong, when you regenerate vitamin C in your body, it actually prolongs the use of vitamin D in your body. So these things all work synergistically. So I love working with how the body works naturally, is you get this synergistic effect. The body knows what to do. It knows how to work together. Think about it. If your cells know how to talk to each other, and we don't hear that communication, but they know how to talk to each other, I wrote my thesis many years ago on how does your body know to stay sick, and that's how our body knows to stay sick is when we get a hole in this fishnet stocking idea. When we get a hole there, disease can settle in. Then it can settle in there, and it gets a hole. And then when it's got that hole, without glutathione, without any way to repair that hole or to make our body think that it's not there, we just replicate those damaged tissue over and over again. And we think about it, our body really is almost 90% new every year, and within a few years, it's all 100% new. Every cell of our body has replicated. So once we start doing this, once we start taking glutathione for an adult child, or if we have children, once we start taking glutathione, we'll see over time, we'll continue to see changes as our body utilizes this. And if you're in your 30s, if you're a mom, you're in your 30s, around age 30, our natural production, our body's ability to recycle its glutathione actually starts to diminish. And by the time we're 50, we're down to about 50% of our body's ability to recycle glutathione. So that's why I think this product, Vara product, everyone, this is a product that it's for everyone. It's for everybody. It's for every body that's out there. It's a basic foundation product for good health. Now, and then you add collagen protein, and the really unique thing about collagen protein is the fact that it's got the amino acid glycine in it. Now, what glycine can do in your body, it does many, many things. First of all, glycine is at the root of the manufacture of pretty much all of your hormones. So glycine is going to be involved in that process. Somewhere there's going to be a glycine molecule involved. Our demand in our body for glycine is huge for making collagen protein for repair, for doing all sorts of things. So our demand for glycine is huge. But our body loses, and we don't know why. Nobody has figured out yet why our body just sort of naturally decreases its regeneration of glutathione in the liver, and it starts to go down. But that's a very integral part of aging, when our glutathione starts to go down. And so, if you're 30 and you're thinking about having children, yes, glutathione, you should have that. If you're over 30, you should be taking glutathione anyway. And when we're taking it naturally, so if we're taking something that stimulates our body to produce glutathione, so some of the drugs, N-acetylcysteine, some of those things, they stimulate glutathione production. They do that by shocking the system. What we're doing is, and all the research that's been shown since 1978, really on giving either precursor amino acids or now giving this bioavailable glutathione that we're doing. It's natural. The body's looking for it. It simulates it, and it just continues to use it. And what it does is it helps to make mitochondria in our cells. Mitochondria is our energy system. So even as we're older, we get all these benefits from glutathione. So an integral part of our health. And the glycine, what the glycine does, so when our body's using glutathione, it actually, when it's detoxified, so you think about it capturing a toxic piece of something, it actually inactivates the glutathione at that moment, and then it kind of, I'm just going to say it breaks apart for lack of a better term. And what glycine can do is it can recapture this amino acid cysteine, that one we have such difficulty absorbing from our diet, and cysteine becomes the limiting factor in manufacturing glutathione. It captures that cysteine, and it can upregulate it again or remake glutathione. Actually getting a double bang for our buck here when we're taking collagen protein, which is extremely rich in glycine, and glutathione together. We're just getting this real double bang for our buck, because we not only have glutathione, but we have this amino acid that can help in the recycling and the reproduction of glutathione in our body. So, I think, Penny, what we're going to see over time here is we're going to see miracles. We're going to see people saying, wow, I took it for this and I didn't expect that this happened and this happened. And that's all because we have this signaling network that, the body's been trying to talk to each other and trying to help us overcome inflammation and trying to help us overcome some of these chronic illnesses, and it just hasn't had the ability to communicate and to do what it needs to do. And we're giving the body the elements that will allow it now to do that. And so, once again, everybody's going to be different, but really, when it comes to children, when it comes to this I call it a tragedy that we have happening in America with America's children. We can take that right back to the fact that they're not assimilating proteins. Kids don't like protein. Kids don't like to eat protein. It's difficult. And kids' digestive tracts generally don't mature until they're maybe 36 to 40 months old. And, we don't have time to wait so our children, they have to grow up quick in America because mom has to get back to work. And so the kids grow up quick. Food, probably long before their intestinal tract is really ready for it. And some of those can cause food allergies. Some of those can cause reactions that last the rest of their life. And how do you get rid of that? Well, glutathione can help you with that. But, as these kids are when they're born and they're really glutathione sufficient, they're running, their systems are running at an optimal level, you'll see that they can actually eat food. They can actually take on a lot of stuff that maybe other kids couldn't because they're just so ready. Their system is just so ready. It's mature maybe ahead of its time. I don't have any documentation of that, but I'm just watching these kids grow and watching them grow up, and you see them just advancing so quickly. So, I am so excited to represent this product. I'm so excited to talk to people about this product, and I know that there's people they're gonna think, well, we have a special situation, or we have a special child, or we have this, and that's probably true. And what's true is your child needs glutathione. No matter what the illness, no matter what the situation is that you're dealing with, if it's autism, if it's ADHD, if it's some other cognitive disorder, if it's mood disorders, all these things, your child needs glutathione. It's just we are glutathione depleted and deficient in North America. And so, I'm just so excited about this, Penny. I have dreamed of this. It's been one of my dreams. As a matter of fact, a few years ago when I was working with the precursor amino acid situation, I actually made this deal in my heart with myself that I was going to find a way, because kids, once again, they don't like protein. They can't assimilate protein. It doesn't taste good to kids. I made up my mind in my heart. This is just me in my heart, making up my mind that I was going to find a way to get kids glutathione. And I worked with some Chinese researchers for a while, and we found a way through magnetic frequency, but that turned out not to be commercially viable. And then to find this that's a vegan product. It comes from vegetables, so there's anybody can take this. It's vegan, it's kosher, it's halal, it's all the things that it should be that's out there. It's a product that everybody can take, and so for me, this is just a dream that's come true, to bring this to Visi, to have them grasp it, maybe see the importance of it like I did, and say, no, we should bring that to market. And so just so people know, Penny, in Canada, there is nobody that markets cetriaglutathione. There's a couple of products on the market that have some cetriaglutathione in it. It's mixed in with N-acetylcysteine. That's not the same thing. And in the United States, there is some glutathione on the market. But what we found in our experience over the years is when you give glutathione with the vitamins and the minerals and all the things that it needs, you get better absorption, you get better results, you get faster results. And so that's why we designed this formula the way it is, a mixable formula. And so, I just, once again, I want to go back to what I said at the start. No matter what situation you're in, no matter what situation your body is in right now, no matter, how many meds you're on and all that kind of stuff, you can take glutathione. And your doctor can read about it if he wants. It's in the physician's desk reference in the United States. It's in CPS in Canada. They can read about glutathione. They can go to PubMed. There's ever been a reported drug interaction with glutathione. And so it's just a fantastic thing for us to take out into the market, to be first to the market with. And what a great opportunity we have to help people lead their best life with glutathione, with collagen protein, and with the opportunity that we have. So, Penny, thank you so much for having me on this call tonight. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. It's been such a pleasure, and I just want to wish everybody the best, and I want to see all these lovely, wonderful, healthy children healthy people as we move ahead. So thank you, Penny. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Alan. I just thank you so much and really appreciate your excitement and your knowledge and the way that you speak to all of us in layman's terms so that we can all understand it. So I also want to mention that for everyone on the call, if there's a subject that you would like to have Alan speak on, please post and tag him on Facebook, and we'll make sure to make that happen. So thank you all, and have an amazing evening. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Penny. Bye-bye.